Good morning, everyone. Thank you guys for joining us on this Wednesday. I know this is not my normal day to do a show, but I wanted to do a special episode on today to really talk about some things, of course, that are plaguing and happening in our local community, but also to introduce you guys to someone who is going to be very key in introducing and helping to implement some new programs with fundamentals of learning. So thank you guys so much for joining in on today. I'm here with Jaheim President. He is an amazing, amazing student downtown at the College of Charleston, and I'll let him tell you more about himself. But I want you guys to really engage with us, listen with an open mind and open heart as we move through the conversation on today, and help me in welcoming Mr. President to the Engage Educator Show. Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. I'm glad
How
to
you
be here. I'm doing good. I'm doing well. I'm doing
doing?
well.
Awesome. Awesome. All right. So give us the 20-second version of who you are.
Hello, I'm Jaheim President. I'm a sophomore at the College of Charleston, majoring in middle grades education. I want to be a history and science teacher for middle grades, and I am a part of the Call Me Mr. program. You might see me before. I don't like to use this a lot, but people say I need to use it a lot. But you might have seen me, about 2 years ago, a year ago, on the Ellen DeGeneres show. I was one of the two young black men who received a full-time tuition at the College of Charleston. So that's
Wow.
just me in a nutshell.
Superstar. So I got a superstar, y'all, on my show. And don't try to call or text me after the show either. Because no. All right. I'm gonna keep them all to myself. So yeah, we got a superstar on the show today, guys. And before we get into our conversation, we are, of course, going to do our song association game. And he tried to get me to explain the game to him before the show. But I like when it's like this, so you get the real feel of the show. So even though we're gonna have a very intense, I would say, I wouldn't necessarily say intense conversation, but even though we're gonna have a very serious conversation about serious things that are taking place, I personally believe laughter is good for the soul. So we're gonna take a couple minutes just to laugh at him as he tries to think of songs to sing and rap in 10 seconds, right? So he's gonna have 10 seconds. I'm gonna give him 10 words, and he has to either sing or rap a song with that word in it. So not just the title. If it has that word in it at all, it's free game. Okay? And if you got to take us to church for all 10 songs, you can take us to church too, all right? So don't be ashamed.
Yes.
All right. Are you ready?
Yes, I'm gonna try. I'm gonna
All right,
try.
get ready. All right, so your first word. So.
Dang. So a song with a so in it. So by a round of applause. Standing ovation.
She says so.
Yeah, so yes, you say so. How about a round of applause? Yes. Yeah, Rihanna say that.
Okay.
Standing ovation.
All right. 1 point.
Okay.
All right. Pain.
Oh, I came to tell you what Jesus said. I came to tell you what Jesus said. That's definitely
Two words in. 2 words in. I got the quartet going. All right, here we go. On.
Oh, another church song. You fight on, oh, you fight on, you fight on, oh, you fight on.
Hey, Sunday on a Wednesday. How about it? All right. Boy.
Boy. The boys are back in town. Boys are back in town. And that's all I know about that song. Yeah.
I know that one though. I know that one. All right. 4. The number.
Oh, what's the Schoolhouse Rock song for 4? Dang. All right, that's a pass for that.
Got 5 seconds.
4. I don't know this one. Four. I watched Schoolhouse Rock, man.
All right,
Dang, four. Oh,
girl.
um, who run the world? Girls, girls who run the world. Girls, girls. And
All right,
that
Beehive. All right, focus.
focus, focus, focus. I don't. Come on, all words focus. I guess focus on
It's a
the.
really good song with focusing. Two,
Really?
one.
Uh,
Right.
what's the song?
Baby, can you focus?
Oh wow! Dang, I get that.
Love.
Love, love and happiness. Uh, yeah, I know
Mm,
that's it.
What's the rest?
Yeah.
Him.
Um,
All right, I took you that. I took you that. All right, people.
people. Oh, people. Oh, man, there's a lot of songs of people. People,
I just need one.
people, people change. Oh, there's a song in my head. People change. I don't know who's. I know that's a song. People change. That's definitely a song. People change. People
All right, what
change.
about change?
Oh, change. Um, change.
And don't try that people change because I don't know that song.
Change. Oh, change.
Come on.
Change. Um,
3, 2.
I'm going to sing "Lean on Me." Change. Change got it. Lean on me. Change. My breath. Okay, I give.
That is not no. Unless you're gonna say change me. That was so easy.
Oh wow! Change. Let me.
We taking your church card. Church card revoked.
Oh wow!
I
I
didn't
didn't
even
even
know
think
that's
about
a
that.
thing, but I'm making it up today. Church card revoked.
My
All
God.
right. So you had a 7 out of 10.
Oh, that's good.
Oh, somebody tried to help you. A change is gonna come. That's my
Wow.
favorite song. Sam
And,
Cooke. Change. All right. Okay. But God knew not to make me a singer because I would have used it for my own glory. We'll talk about that later. All right. So 7 out of 10 song association game. I wanted to come together, of course, for us to come together today to really talk about what's happening for with a lot of young people in our community when it comes to gun violence, young people losing their lives, young people taking other young people's lives, and really tie that back to our role in education, our role and just really community work, right?
mm-hmm.
So when we talk about violence and how it really is impacting our children, what first of all, what are the conversations need to be like when we are talking to and speaking to people that can really put policies in place, laws in place. What is that conversation like when we are talking to them? Like where do we start?
First, you have to say you have to discuss how it affects, like we say, children more because if you grow up in that type of environment, in that type of system, it just you get is a mental piece, and it creates a cycle that goes on and on and on. So we're talking to policymakers and the big dogs. I would say, how does it affect the children, and how does what did their parents' childhood look like, or how did they education look like, or how did the school system around them or the community around them, how did that look like? How did that play a major role, and how can we fix the environment? Because some of us, most people can come out of that environment. But some people are, is a generational, is a cycle, is a mental cycle that some people can't break that cycle, because I saw mama did it. I saw daddy did it. So if they did it, then of course, as a little child, 5-year-old, 6-year-old, if mama did it, then it must be okay. Or if granny doing it, if I see Uncle Joe doing it, if I see Uncle Jimmy doing it, then it must be okay. So we have to first, when we're talking to policymakers, we have to talk to them about how can we change the kids' environment, and make them a product of their environment, more positive in their environment.
I like that. And I like the fact that you brought up the fact that it's generational, right? So this is not something that just happened yesterday in my family, right? This is something that I have seen perpetuated over and over again. And who's going to save me, right? I think a lot of times children feel that way. Like, okay, who is going to either pull me out of this or give me the tools and the resources that I need to come out of this situation? Because I was even thinking about it yesterday, and it's just like, well, every kid, we can't move every kid into a good neighborhood, right? Yeah. We can't put every kid into a good school, whatever those things even mean. So what are we going to do? Right. So what are we going to do with what we have? What can we do? Just as two individuals talking right now on this show, this is an opportunity for us to even share these ideas openly and publicly, where before maybe you had to write into a newspaper or a magazine and wait for it to get okayed and go through all these different channels before you can actually even give voice to a specific situation. And I think now, because we do have this freedom, right, of speech, not to take it and to be abusive with that freedom of speech, but to say, hey, I understand, like you were saying, that this is something that's generational, that this is something that has been happening over and over again. Now, can we put these systems or these things in place to where that this doesn't happen for the next generation? And I really wanted us to touch on it because, like I said, I've been seeing just so many pictures of kids that's 11 years old, 6 years old, 3 years old that are dead, that are no longer living because of something that could have been prevented had we had these conversations maybe 20, 30 years ago about if we bring this child up in this environment, this could potentially be what happens, instead of what we see all the time, being pushed through the system, being neglected, being told that you're never going to amount to anything, or you're not going to make it out of the situation. So what's the point in pouring those resources into you, right? Yeah. So when we think about educators and our role as educators, tell us a little bit about what you've seen when it comes to children misbehaving and their interaction and how the teacher engages with them. Tell us about maybe some of the negative and the positive things that you've seen when it comes to that.
Yes, ma'am. I've seen, like you said, I've seen the positive and the negatives. I went to a predominantly white institution, a white education, middle school, whatever. So I've seen it. I've seen teachers who have reached out to those kids, to those troublemakers, or to the ones who can't sit still, or the ones who can't are acting up all class long. And most of the times those kids are acting up for attention. The teacher says attention, but they're acting up for that attention that that they love or they crave. They need that loving and craving. And I've seen it where teachers have embraced that role. They have loved on the child like it was like there was there. And I've seen those teachers who have just at all costs try to get the child out of the classroom.
Right.
Don't even try to work with the child. Hey, Joe, we got you a good spot in the guidance counselor. And so the child starts believing. Once the child, or once you hear that, hear that rhetoric of somebody that doesn't like you, there are some kids, well, all people that are just that'll shut down on you, and they'll
Right.
anything you say. Once you say that one negative thing, or once you say that one disencouraging thing to them, then they'll shut down you. I've seen some teachers, I'm not judging nobody. I've seen some teachers who literally track down the child next teacher for the next year and say, good luck with that child. I'm so glad they're out of my classroom. I've been at my middle school. I've seen teachers that are, sit out in the hallway and they'll be like, "Ooh, you got that rough class. Good luck." Or, "Ooh, you have the rough team." So most children, are just crying out for help, or even some adults are crying out for help. Is no difference than the adult and the children. I think most of the time as teachers, some teachers get so hardened by life or outside life that they kind of neglect that flexible piece, the caring and the loving piece that most child needs. Most teachers, educators, I'm talking, guidance counselors, I'm talking anybody who works in school, you probably see that the child more than the parents see their child. Most parents work 9 to 5, so they're looking to you as that role model. I know people on the live. I know you have had that teachers that you have tried to model, or you have tried to be like, because you like how they were to you, and you like how they were around the community, around the community of the school. So I think most teachers, or yeah, I'm saying we're, because I'll be a teacher one day. Some
Right.
teachers are so worried about outside. I know the outside factors are very important. The pay, the principal support and stuff like that. But I think sometimes we have to break into that nurturing piece. And let me say this: sometimes teachers, you may not see the fruits of your labor. It may be 20 years down the line. It may be once the kid gets into a different school or a different level of learning, they might come back to you, or they might see you, and they might say, "I remember the nugget you dropped into my life." I have some teachers that, at first, I got some teachers on my Facebook now who I gave, we didn't have that kind of, relationship when I was in their class, but now, they're excited to see what I'm doing in life. And I remember what they said to me, and I take it as, and I still take it to heart what they said encouraging and what they said discouraging. Sometimes, I go back, I laugh when some teachers comment, or when some teachers, when the Ellen thing happened, they were, "Oh, Jaheim, oh, I love you." But I was like, I remember, hey, listen, you may not remember what you said to me, but I remember what I said, and I told you I was going to prove you wrong. And guess what?
Right.
I was on national TV. I did prove you wrong. So I think it can be both ways, but it depends on how the kid can take it, because I had other support church people and stuff like that, kind of putting positive in my ear. I had my grandparents and my mom and my dad putting some positive ears in my. But there are some kids who just, you hear the negative at home and you hear the negative at school. So you're thinking, "Oh my God, what is it? Who is speaking life into me?" And then they look to other negative things, like selling drugs or doing stuff like that, because those guys are manipulating them to speak life, and to speak stuff like that. So it's it's very important that you kind of speak life. Call me Mr. Hayward John. He says that's his thing, speak life, and I've kind of grabbed hold to it. You have to kind of speak life to people, and speak life into the kids. So
Right. No, I agree absolutely, because and one of the things that you said too, like you might not see the fruit of what you're doing. So I started saying, like, a lot of times, like, it's really seed work. Like what we're doing right now, like you're planting seeds. And it may not be your job to water it. It may not be your job to see the fruit of it, but your job really is to plant that seed. And what we were talking about kind of before the live is that we can't even, as educators going into classrooms, I can't say, like I said to you earlier, I know what it's like to deal with poverty, to grow up like as a child in elementary, middle school, and even some of high school, to live this paycheck to paycheck life. Like I get that, I know that, I understand that, but I didn't have to live through violence on top of my poverty. Those are two different things. And when we talk about those teachers that have those students that are troubled, we a lot of times look at just that troubling child, but we don't actually understand that that's coming from a very traumatized place. And we don't take the time to actually have necessary conversations with those children about all of the things that you face, all of the things that you've gone through and walked through before you got to my room. Right. And when we spoke earlier, you even mentioned like there are kids 4 or 5 years old that are facing things that adults and young adults have never had to face, have never had to go through, have never experienced before. And as educators, instead of taking that and teaching lessons, we take it and we criticize. We take it and we talk about them. Just like you said, we run to the next class and be like, oh, you better watch out for Jaheim because he blah, 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 blah. You better watch out for her because she's a hot mess, instead of trying to figure out what's making them this hot mess that you're saying that they are. Like what is their home environment like? What is their community like? Right? We have to address that. Go ahead.
And then there are some teachers that that you feel open to, and then the student starts running to that classroom and start engaging into that student, and then then the teachers are like, whoa, how you get to do that when he's a totally different person? And it's because the teachers, and I feel like sometimes the teachers, they feel like that piece is extra work. That piece is they're not paying. Well, I've heard some teachers say they're not paying me enough to be quote unquote babysitters. And so, but and that once you say that, you're doing you're doing your whole classroom, and you're doing your whole community of the school a whole disservice by you're shutting down that piece. You're shutting down that thing. And surprisingly enough, you don't know that child could be the next president, or that child could be the doctor that's a surgeon on that might save your life. Yeah. Exactly. And so you don't know how hard people hold that feelings in, and then they wonder why. I think we have, educators have just, some educators have just been so inundated and so outdated. Like I said, there's some teachers who started teaching in 1980, and it's 2020, and they won't. They, like how you said, they're so defensive. Hey, this is my classroom, and I'm going to run it the way I want to run it. I don't care if the superintendent comes in this classroom. My name is on that door. I've been in this school since 1985, and this is how it's going to be. And sometimes you lose a child with that mentality. You lose a child because they're already walking in, and you can feel the coldness. Sometimes you can feel the coldness off of somebody. I'm good at reading energy, and I could tell when my teachers, if any of my old teachers see this, I could tell when my teachers weren't having a good day, because you could tell the energy, that they have. Even the teachers I didn't like, I could tell when they were having a bad day, because they would kind of nitpick, and I think most of the time teachers are just nitpicking. So the child can't sit down in your classroom. We'll find a way where he can stand up in the back, or she can stand up in the back, and engage in the learning, or switch up the style, because not every child learns the same way.
Right.
Everybody's gonna be able to, boom, boom, boom. Me, my teacher's gonna say I talk a lot. I talk sometimes. I talk too much.
Don't say.
Hey, I could talk, but the weird thing, well, not the weird thing, the good thing about it was I could talk, but I could also retain what they were saying. So it wasn't bothering me much. I'd be like, okay, and then I could still study for the test, stuff like that. But then they'll come back this with that excuse. Well, that's distracting other people. Well, I mean, I used to say, I'm sorry, but I'm bored, So I think.
And that's the first, and we talk about diversity, but we don't talk about it when it comes to like also diversifying your teaching style, right? Because a lot of times we talk about diversity as, oh, we gotta get more Black people, right? Oh, we gotta fix up the colors. But diversity is so much more than just race, right? We have that same diversity when we talk about just like the learning styles. Maybe children that have disabilities, maybe having younger and older educators working together, having people from different classes, economic classes working together. Like those things also are diversity. Is not just race. But speak to us about how can we diversify this curriculum, especially in the state of South Carolina. I would like to hear your take on it as someone that's in college. Because in college, I'm vocal now, but I was even more vocal in college. Like you couldn't stop me from saying what I wanted to say when I was in college. So as a college student that's studying education right now, how can we diversify it to look more, I would say look more like the students that we serve, and we know majority of the students we serve are African American?
I feel with that is anything, put a little plug in but the Call Me Mr. program, we have been working on that. We did diversity. We started at Sanders Cloud, and we did our diversity in books. Sometimes, I'm not a racist, and this is gonna sound wild, but sometimes we don't see, as black, Mexicans, Hispanics, Indians, we don't see ourselves in the books or stuff that we're reading.
That's true.
Or anything, even in, I want to be a history teacher. Even in history, we, the civil rights units, 2 days done, see ya. But World War II takes 3 weeks. The Martin Luther King unit, Martin Luther King Day, woo, we want to celebrate that. Or Black History, we want to celebrate that. But it's different, even in the books we read, different, like how you say, different ways of learning, and different ways of doing different stuff. I think we, South Carolina in general, we're stuck in this mold that, we're gonna hold on to as long as we can. We're gonna, no, is our way or the highway. No, our way still works. And in fact, it doesn't work. Well, it doesn't work well. And many times we get so inundated and so stuff like that. But like even for us, and I'm just gonna take history because I want to teach history. But even in history, you get so we don't really dive deep, or we're too busy, and this is all across the board. We're too busy trying to teach for the test, or we're too busy. Hey, I gotta get you to get these test scores because I don't want John from the principal, Principal John coming to me asking why my test scores, and then John gets in trouble from the superintendent, and then I'm getting observed every other week because somehow the test scores reveal that I can't teach the subject, or and so hey, whatever this is, book. Oh, we did the same thing last year. Let me copy and paste. Boom. We're doing the same unit. Like, some teachers, and I know they like to plan out the year, but some teachers, sometimes it needs to be, we got to be more, goes back to that flexibility. Sometimes what worked even last year is not gonna reach the students. And so I think we just that's what South Carolina kind of hinges themselves on, that they're going to stay true to themselves into the dust, to the dust. So I think that's how we can have diversity in the curriculum, and just kind of it doesn't have to be every time, but every 5 years kind of check it out, see what needs to be switched, see what unit needs to be, and it should be a teacher and team based, because some teams or some teachers you might feel like I need to stay longer on. I know we got timetable to move, but I need to stay longer on because this is building steps. So I don't want to knock this student off for next year because I'm just trying to get myself look good, and this student, and then the next teacher does the same thing, and then this student is walking across the stage, and you know they don't, they couldn't tell you what they learned because nobody took the time to really break it down for them. And sometimes that's all you need. Just take the time. I know you may not have time or whatever, but is finding different ways or different segments. Some class may not always need to be a structural, a lecture based. Some class may be to be, hey, I got y'all. We need to do this. Hey, I see you struggled on this test. I need to talk to these 5 students. We're gonna work this. We're gonna work these problems or what y'all are struggling on. And I had some teachers that hey, they're going to take their time and they're going to teach whatever. And if we miss something, sometimes we'll shrink, sometimes we'll play catch up, but hey, we're going to learn what we need to learn. So I think that's what. And I see somebody say including more technology. Yeah, so I mean that's, if you're not using technology in your classroom by now, or trying to use more technology, shame on you. Shame on you. I know you have PD. I know y'all don't have PDs and all that stuff. And yeah, social media. Get the kids what they like. Hey, I've had some teachers say, hey, in English class, we're going to create a Facebook post or for different projects. That kind of stay. I've had some teachers who said, hey, you're going to make a music about this, a poem, something that they're something that the kids are used to, but they're still learning. And I think that's what it is. You got to know what your students like, what they're most interactive, and then turn that into an educational piece. I think that's what helps us.
All of that, I agree. But all of those things, even as an elementary teacher, like it's gonna be a lot of TikTok because that's where they are, right? It's gonna be a lot of YouTube because that's what they are. Elementary kids think Facebook is for old people. So I'm not really gonna push them to even do like Facebook or nothing because they like, oh no, only old people. So it's gonna be Snapchat and TikTok.
Yeah.
Because that's where they are. So you really have to go to where they are and then allow them to even like teach. Or if they want to record a lesson, then you can have them actually record that lesson and send it out to their friends in the class. Hey, you want to teach your friends how to do fractions. You want to teach your friends how to do this. Record yourself doing it and send it out to your friends. So I don't even have to be like, this is going into my 9th, 10th year in education. My ego is all the way out the window. I don't even have to do this if y'all don't want me to. Like, y'all can teach. Like, I don't feel like I got to be in the spotlight. I got to do this myself. I don't feel that way.
You said something great. Your ego is out the window. I mean, there are some teachers that their ego is you can feel it when you come in the room. I mean, especially if they're in higher ed or they have the honors students there. Hey,
oh gosh.
Yeah, I've been, listen, I'm teaching higher, and it's like and so the ego, and I would recommend that as a student, even now, the ego, your students can feel your ego, or they really can. If you're thinking your method is the only way, then and you start breaking that down to them that hey, your method is the only way, then you're doing a disservice to your students and to you as well.
Yeah, because and let's move into this piece because you said something earlier too. about, okay, when you lose your passion for this work,
Mm.
you can feel it. It shows up and what you do, it shows up in what you say. So
Yes.
let's speak to when you lose your passion, should you leave the field of education altogether?
That's a tough.
I got your back.
That's a. I would say yes. If you lose your passion, then it's time to give it up. I mean, you can. I would say I would. Okay, let me rephrase this. If you're starting to lose it, I would give it a year.
Mm-hmm.
Give it a year and see if this is still what you want to do.
Mm-hmm.
And if it's not, then your degree can get you either. You don't have to be in the classroom, but even in today's world,
Mm-hmm.
especially in today's world, where the social and the mental health piece is prevalent,
Mm-hmm.
kids do not need that drawn out that, oh Lord, oh my God, I want to be here. uh, I don't want to be here. I don't. Kids don't need that, especially like somebody said, especially not in the classroom. Like, don't leave the educational field. Don't There's your degree can get you anyway, but the classroom piece, that connecting, the human contact, that every day. Because let me remind you of this: your students need you. Yes, that's right. Your students need you more than ever because if I wouldn't be who I am if I didn't have a Victoria Marriott, a Christine Dykema, Mrs. Lee, Mrs. Ross, who wasn't my teacher, but she was in the building, and she affected me. Our principals like Miss Booten, they had, you could tell they were wavering. Yes, we're not saying you're not going to have down days, because not everybody can be up every day, but just to have that striving for that passion, that you want to see your kids doing better. That's what we still need. That's what is needed in the classroom. Not,
Right.
oh, this is just a paycheck. No, this is a passion, and I want to see all 32. I don't care if they give me 40. I want to see each one succeed. And this is a key. Sometimes we think that succeeding, they're all going to succeed in the same way. No, some are going to succeed in their different ways. Some are going to, if you get a child just to break out of their shell, they were, nervous when they came in at the beginning of the year, but you see them constantly building this, breaking out of their shell, then guess what?
That's right.
Job well done. So you got to find, and for those who are losing their passion a little bit, you got to find success and even the small things. And that's what it is. Yep. Maybe create your own environment to teach. Create your own opportunities. That's right. Maybe we're a living witness for this right here. Maybe
Yep.
sometimes it's you're evolved out of the classroom. Yeah, passion versus paycheck. That's what it all comes down to. Passion versus paycheck. You gotta remember your passion. Even if your paycheck isn't what you like, you gotta remember your passion, because sometimes like I said, you don't know who's in your classroom that you may need later in life. That they may be selling you a new house, and they say, "Oh, Miss Lewis, oh my God, I remembered you. Let me work out these details. Let me get you the discount. Let me see what kind of things we can do." Because you poured so much life into me, and you created me down this path. Even if they become a mechanic, you created me down this path, and you showed me how to be a better person and to learn. That's the thing, to show them how to be a better person and to learn in different environments. It's not about the material, so to say, because I mean, what am I gonna do with Robert E. Lee? You know what I mean? What am I gonna, stuff like that. There's some stuff in math I still haven't used to this day, but is learning how to learn and learning how to work in a process that I have kept on to me. So I think that's what we need to remember. Passion over paycheck. And sometimes you just got to create different environments for you if the classroom is not for you anymore. And it's okay if the classroom is not for you. Sometimes, people beat themselves, oh Lord, no, I failed. No, you haven't failed. You just sometimes you outgrow it, and sometimes it outgrows you. So that's what it
Right.
is.
And just to piggyback on that, definitely you can, and just using myself as a prime example, like fundamentals of learning came out of frustration. Like there were so many programs that I didn't see in school, so many amazing things that I wish were there. And I was just like, you know what? Instead of me wishing and being frustrated, let me just build it myself. Right. So I knew that parents needed support. So that's why I started parental engagement videos. I knew parents didn't know how to help with homework. That's why I started 5 tips in 5 minutes. Like I knew educators needed a space to come and talk about issues and talk about things that were affecting them without feeling like they were going to get fired. So I created the Engage Educator show. Like we have to not be afraid. And that's the other thing. We can be passionate, but you can't be weak with your passion. And you can't be so fragile with your passion that it cripples you. And I feel like a lot of times as educators, we get crippled with that because we're like, oh, I don't want to make this person mad. And I'm gonna just take a book from Deacon Kanye West for a second, because he says, I don't want to say nothing wrong, but I'll be wrong if I don't say nothing. Right. And that's kind of where I'm living right now. Like, I don't want to say nothing wrong, but if I don't say nothing, then I'm gonna be wrong. So let me just say it and live with the consequence of saying it instead of being afraid that, oh, I might say the wrong thing. No, I'm gonna say it because at the end of the day, this is generational work for me. Like this is not, oh, I suspend fundamentals of learning. Oh, she did good in 2020. No, this is in 2060. Did somebody look back at one of my videos and say, I can keep going because this person said XYZ? Like this is beyond me, right? And I know we kind of use that as a hashtag and like a funny thing, but really, like it really is beyond us when we come in this field of education. And if you're not about that life, like about that student life, education, generational, moving beyond yourself life, then I will say you need to do something else, because there are plenty of other opportunities where you not planting seeds in other people's mind, right? You not the end all be all. Just like you were saying earlier, there were people that spoke negatively about you. You can go work somewhere where people see you for 5-10 minutes a day. We don't need you in front of nobody for 6-7 hours a day. If that's your mentality, you need to be at a drive-through. Somebody just say hey to you 5-10 minutes, and they'll never have to see you again. Like that's just my personal opinion, because this is generational heart. Like one of my mentors says, heart work. And like I say, seed work. And if you're not about that positive, you're intelligent, you're brilliant, you can do anything you put your mind to. If you're not about that life, then I will say you need to do something else. Because especially right now in the middle of this pandemic, we don't need nobody in front of kids right now that don't really truly care about kids. So that's my 2 cents with the 3 cents left over.
I like that. Is generational work. It really is, because you can remember your teachers pouring life into you, and you can remember those teachers who didn't pour life into you. And you try to and you try to prove both of them right and wrong at the same time. So like you said, if and it's okay. It's okay. Is nobody's gonna shun you, nobody's gonna look down on you. But instead of if you want to create more, like I said, Dylan Roof had a teacher. Everybody has a teacher.
Yeah.
And who, not to say, but who said that they could have, he had a teacher that didn't pour life into him, or a teacher like me who poured life into him. And so the negatives got into his ear, and that overcome. But if you remember what a positive teacher, or with somebody who speaks life into you, maybe, we won't have so much hatred, because you can remember what they say. Or if you have that student, that sees you, or sees you as a positive, and they may say, well, I want to be like them. I want to be like Mrs. and Mr. I want to be like them. Not what my environment is telling me that I am to become. No, I can change my environment. And especially for those teachers who work in kind of rough areas, that is needed most. I mean, some of those, the learning piece will come later, but you have to build that relationship for those kids to learn. It's all
Right.
about relationship. So once you build that relationship, then their walls begin, because I've seen it, their walls begin to come down, and and then they perform the best for you because they know, okay, they really care for me. Now
Right.
let me do something right for them. Let me try my best. And
Mm-hmm.
sometimes the kids are really trying their best. And if you see that, don't try to, hinder them. Just say, okay, well, I know what you need, and okay, let's keep building. It's all about building. By the time they leave your classroom in May, you should have them better than where they left. And I believe that you should, any way you can, you should lead them better than what they came in your classroom. I don't care if their old teacher was your best friend, and I would say, don't even, when that teacher comes around trying to poke in. Oh, wow, they trouble. Don't even pay attention to the nonsense. Be like, oh, okay. I don't think me and his relationship would allow for me to involve you into that. I know you're trying to snooze whatever, but I'm trying to build a true relationship with this child, and I don't need you or any outside areas disrupting that. So learn to do stuff like that, and
Yeah.
the child will love you for it. I'm a living witness.
Yeah. That is amazing, amazing advice. All right, so we have come to the end of our show. And just like I spoke to you about before, so at the end of the show, I give my guest the opportunity to do a Dear Black Child moment, just because the data and statistics always show our that Black children at the bottom, right? Bottom of achievement, bottom graduation rates, all these things negative about them. So I leave space at the end for positivity, for pouring life into them. So this Dear Black Child moment is really your opportunity to share positive affirmation, encouragement, anything that you want to share with them at this moment that they can carry with them throughout their life. This is your time to share that.
I want to let you know, for the ones that are listening now and the ones that will listen, that you can be anything. And I know a lot of people say that, but it's truly, you can be anything, no matter your environment, no matter your situation. If you just grind and you try to do your best, and sometimes your best may seem like not everybody's best, but learn how to stop comparing yourself to others and learn to do what you do. So any dream is any dream you can have, no matter the length. Some people say that college takes 4 years, but if it takes you 5, so what? Just keep that positive mindset, and try to look at the positive angle in anything you do. No matter if it's sports, or if it's gymnastic, or if it's just trying to get an A or B on that test. Just know that you can do it no matter what nobody says, and always speak life into your situations, no matter what it may be, no matter what situation it may be. I speak life into you today, that no matter what's going on around you, no matter what's your school situation, virtual or you going back into school, I know that you're going to have a great year and years to come, because you are very important, and guess what? You are very essential in this world. So we need you to grind. We need you to be great, because we're expecting great things from you. So that's what I want every Black child to hear from me, that we expect great things from you.
Awesome, 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 awesome. Dear Black child, you are essential. We talk about essential. Dear
Yes,
child, you are essential. Okay? And do not forget that. All right, guys. So I did this special episode with Jaheim today because he is really going to be one of the first members of the Fundamentals of Learning team, right? So this was really our introduction of us just joining together. He's going to be with me, walking alongside me to learn the programming, to learn just the different things that I've built. But we're going to take those things and we're going to add his talents and his aspirations and his passion to it. And we're just going to create meaningful programs, meaningful content that reaches children, parents, male educators, Black males that just want to invest in education and the community. So this was really my way of introducing him to everyone. I wanted you guys to hear his heart. I wanted you to hear his ideas. So when you begin to see me just handing things off, like I didn't want him to be this mystery person. I wanted you to actually be able to see him and to engage with him. And you'll be hearing just more of his story, more of the things that we're going to be doing together with Fundamentals of Learning, just to really grow what's here and just to really make an impact and make a change, right? You're looking at two individuals in education in South Carolina that are African American, that are really about the change and not just talking about it, but actually putting our hands to it, not doing lip service, but actually making it happen and making it work. So I'm super excited that he's joining the team. I'm super excited for what is going to happen, what's going to take place, how it's going to grow. So I thank him so much for joining me on the Engage Educator Show. Like I said, this is not the last time that you guys will be seeing him. You'll be seeing him more, hearing his name more. And we just got some awesome things. So just tell them briefly about, I want you to tell them about, first of all, what you want to do with the motivation piece. And then just one other thing that you'll be adding to Fundamentals of Learning.
Well, I'm starting. I'm very a motivational kind of guy. If you haven't noticed yet, but so we're gonna be doing motivation Mondays. And it is going to be for everybody. It's going to be for the parents. It's going to be for the teachers. It's going to be for the students. Just starting your week off, because that's very important to start your week off right with that positive affirmation that, hey, I can do it, and guess what, I will do it. So we're going to be doing Monday motivations, and we're going to be hopefully with Miss Van, we're going to be actually getting some more Black males onto the show. I see one just tune in, Dr. James, my program director for the College Minister at College of Charleston, who's a great man. And so we're gonna I'm gonna try to get some misters across the state, all across the state, and just show the Black male piece and how we are very essential. Black males are very essential to the work, and it may be, you don't even have to go to, you don't even have to be a teacher, but to support education itself, that's very essential. So, and everybody, not just Black men, Black women, Hispanic men, we're just going to try to broaden this thing to show you that education is very essential in this season and very essential after this season too. So I'm excited about everything to come, and I thank Miss Fan for allowing this young buck to trust me, to help out with her vision. That's a big thing. This is what she created, all this from brick and mortar. So I'm just excited to be a part of the train to help this thing continue to grow. So
we were all young once upon a time. But no, I definitely see something. I definitely see something just amazing in you. And when we see things like that, we really just have to be careful. So I'd rather you be in my hands. Because I'd rather you be in my hands than for me to have their hands because somebody did something. But yeah, so like I said, guys, I'm super excited. It's going to be amazing. So just continue to support like you guys have already been doing, and just know that every single thing that we do, every single thing that we put out is going to be for students, right? For them to be the best that they can absolutely be. So once again, Jaheim, I thank you for even accepting the invitation to grow and to learn and to just be a part of what I know is going to be amazing, because it's God ordained. And I'm gonna say that, because if I don't, then I know for myself that it's God ordained, and that what, like I said, what we put out to do is gonna manifest, it's gonna grow, it's gonna multiply. So thank you guys. Thank you, Jaheim. We'll of course, be talking and connecting. And we will see you guys on our next episode. We'll see you next week. Again, thank you, Jaheim. And I will shortly be either doing a video or just giving you guys some updates, because I know people that follow me on my personal page. My daughter will be having a major surgery next week, so a lot of the content that I've been doing and putting out, it will slow down. But I will keep you guys informed, and I will keep you guys up to date about anything new that's happening, anything new that will be taking place. Once again, thank you so much for tuning in on today. My thoughts and my prayers are with every family affected by just the countless things that I've been reading about gun violence and different things like that. Any organizations out there that are really putting things in place that are affecting real change, please let me know how Fundamentals of Learning can support you guys in any of those efforts. And I thank you guys once again for tuning in, and I will keep you updated and posted on what's next with Fundamentals of Learning. Have a wonderful, wonderful Wednesday, and we will see you guys on the other side of greatness. Have an awesome day. See ya.